Hi everyone, my name is Erin O'Donnell. I'm very sorry that I could not come today. An opportunity arose for we have been planning for. Everything changed. The plan that we had wasn't supposed to start until July, and it popped up and we could do it within a week and a half. So we were hurrying and trying to pack and get everything done, and it's a long story, but the point is that right now, me and my 7 kids and our 2 cats and my elderly ex-mother-in-law are now in Virginia. And we are driving through the states trying to get someplace, and it's just crazy. I'm so sorry that I missed today, though. I really wish that I could have been there today. I told Aaron that instead, though, I wanted to try to do a video really quick. And there's noise in the background because there are kids going in and out of our hotel room. And my shirt says, please don't make me do things. It's because that's how I feel after 3 days of straight driving. It's been a little nuts. And I'm sorry that I look pretty bad, rough. Anyway, so I wanted to explain a little bit about deaf ministry. I've been doing deaf ministry for about 14 years now. I was born and raised in Vernon, Texas. As odd as it seems, every town has deaf people. Hearing people don't always notice, but in Vernon alone, I know 8 deaf people. So I know that there are deaf. I used to work as a service provider for deaf people in Howard area, Big Spring, Midland, Odessa. That it was 30 counties, and every town had a deaf person. No matter how small it was, it had at least one deaf person. So you know that there are deaf in your community and around you. You just probably have never even noticed before. Deaf ministry is unique. It is very difficult. It is hard to find deaf people sometimes. Typically, once you find one, you will find a whole community. But it is hard to find in the beginning, especially in rural Texas. It's tough. It's tough ministry. Another issue comes in with language. 80% of deaf are born into hearing families. I'm an example of that. I was born hearing, and I did not become deaf until I was 10. And of course, I lived in Vernon, Texas, where there are very little resources for deaf people. So I was raised in a family that did not learn to sign. The first people that hearing parents usually meet when their child is born deaf, they've never met a deaf person before. They don't know what to do. Never even thought about this issue before. So they take them to an audiologist or ENT. And the ENT or the audiologist, they say, oh, your child is deaf. I'm so sorry. These are the things you can do to fix it. They mean well, but the idea behind it is that your child is broken and needs to become hearing. So these are the things you can do to make them become hearing. We'll put a hearing aid on them, or we'll put a cochlear implant on them, or we'll teach them how to speak and to listen. That is a famous A.G. Bell Association phrase, to speak and listen, as if they weren't trying to listen before. I think that that's a huge issue, especially in ministry, because parents spend many years trying to communicate with their own child and it not succeeding most of the time. Few people do well with cochlear implants and hearing aids, but these are tools and they are not the same as making someone hearing. A deaf person or hard of hearing person can never truly be hearing. It's not like glasses. It is so complex that it's not something that can be fixed. And the other issue is that in deaf culture, they're very proud to be deaf. And it's not something that they want to fix. But we see deafness as a blessing. It's something that God has made us different. Just like I have brown hair and brown eyes, someone else has red hair and blue eyes. And that's just a wonderful thing. I don't need to change them to be like me. I can accept that they are different and that God made them different. And that's how deafness should be viewed, in my opinion. Deaf culture are very proud of who they are. They love being deaf. I think that it makes us unique. It gives us an advantage in some ways because you're not, I'm not even sure what noises are going around, but sometimes there are kids screaming and cats meowing and driving noises and airplanes nearby and blah, 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 blah. I don't have to worry about those things. I can just live and go on and not worry. I can focus more on my work. I can focus on what I'm doing at the time and not be distracted so much. So deafness can be a blessing. With anything, there are negatives and there are positives. In ministry, though, we come back to ministry. You realize that only 2% of deaf in our world have been reached for Christ. 2%. That includes the United States. The United States isn't different than other parts of the world. Deaf ministry is extremely unreached population. I've been doing deaf ministry for 14 years. I was born in Vernon. We were Presbyterian. When I was in high school, I went to Assembly of God Church. Then when I got married, I became Baptist. I have been to many different denominations, a Lutheran. I've done work with Catholics. I've worked with many different denominations. But the truth is, deaf ministry is the same in all of them. Deaf are very unreached. Deaf Bible Society, which is not based on a denomination, is in Dallas, Texas. I have friends that are missionaries for Deaf Bible Society. I'm going to open the door. Let's go open the door. I hear knocking. And you hear bass sounds. You got a plug, all right. All right. Sorry for spinning. Deaf Bible Society is still working on an ASL-based Bible. And that is a project that's been going on for nearly 40 years. We still do not have a complete Bible in ASL. The translation process is long, very tedious, and they want to make sure that they do it right. ASL, though, is very fluid language, and it varies from region to region, even in the United States. ASL is American Sign Language, it's not universal, and there are no universal sign languages. Every country has its own, just like English is in the U.S. and Spanish in Mexico, and they're all different. In ASL, we still have parts of the Old Testament that haven't been translated. No other language has even been started for a Bible. So you have millions of deaf people in the world that don't have access to the Bible in their heart language. begun Mexican Sign Language translation, but it's in the beginning stages. It's not even close to being finished. It won't be finished for many years. And then there are 224 other sign languages in the world. These people do not have access to God. They don't have access to the Bible and the truth. So there's a lot of deaf people out there, and they're not even far away from you. They're in Vernon, Texas. They're in Lockett. They're in Thalia. I know a deaf man in Thalia. These people, they don't go to church because there's no access for them. There's no interpreters. There's no people that know their language. Even if it's something as simple as hi, how are you, or writing with them, they don't find people that are willing many times. I know that teaching a language to someone, no matter how willing they are, it takes a long time. Learning a language takes many years to become fluent. But almost anyone can write back and forth or use dictation on their phones. Those are little things that make a difference to people that are deaf. Another option, too, is to have notes from the sermon, to spend time with the deaf person outside of church. Expecting a deaf person to come and sit in church and sit for like hour and a half, and they're getting no access to the songs or the service or whatever is really not realistic. It is the kind of ministry that you actually have to go to them and spend time with them one-on-one, writing, spending time having conversations with them. Maybe you guys will have ideas on how to reach the deaf in your community, how to present the gospel. One way is supporting Deaf Bible Society in Dallas. They have the people that have the training. They know what to do, and they want to translate the Bible. I think a great place to start. Having a Bible, that is key. And another thing is to find the local deaf people in your area, and just go and spend time with them. Deaf people, they don't care if you don't sign. They don't care. They were just thrilled someone will reach out to them. It is so rare to have a hearing person really spend time to reach out with the deaf people. And that is just something that deaf it's embodied. It's amazing. It's amazing when that happens. I'm pretty sure there's many other things I want to say, but my kids are getting restless. I'm like, But hopefully Aaron will think of other things too. And if you ever have any questions, you can ask. I'm willing to answer to the best of my knowledge. I think that the harvest is ripe. There are people out there that you can minister to. I'm sorry again for missing today, and I hope that you ladies, enjoy your time together. May you be a blessing to each other. This is something for I love you. And in deaf culture, it's not meant to be like I love you in a weird way. It's more like, I don't know the southern equivalent for that. But, have a good day.